Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. Exciting video right here. We'll be going through Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, and FC Barcelona. Look at their current squad, weaknesses, strengths. More of a transfer video of who they should sign in those kinds of positions. Let's get into it. So, first of all, Manchester City, as you can see, I've created these cheeky graphics as well here right by side. And this is the City lineup I have from looking at the squad. Ederson in goal, but I know that they bought Trafford. He could potentially be the starter. Ederson, they're trying to move him out to Super League, Saudi League, and so on. Diaz, Gvardiol with Ait Nouri coming in. I'm assuming Gvardiol is going to take that centre-back spot. You got Nunes as the right back still. I know that the City have been heavily linked with Livramento, and that's who City want. But Newcastle won like 67, 65. City don't want to pay that. Rangers, Rodri, double pivot. Player Foden. I mean, I don't know why Foden plays on the wing. He's not a winger. He's never been. He can occasionally play there. You know, he can have a free role. But I think in the central areas, that's where he is at his deadliest. Marmoush on the left, Cherki new signing, taking Savinho's spot on the right side, and Erling Braut Haaland at top. So, first of all, very good sign here from City. Weaknesses, first of all, goalkeeper. I guess Trafford is going to be the keeper. I mean, City should have gone for Chevalier before we went for him. They can still get Donnarumma. That would be absolutely huge. I recently saw a report that Donnarumma wants to go to one of the Manchester clubs to play in the Premier League and have an extremely high wage. City, I know that, Donna is still ball playing ability, not perfect and so on, like an Ederson, for example, but shot stopping, he will save City multiple times, who do concede a lot of chances, especially last season. They conceded so many goals. So my pick for the goalkeeping spot has to be Gianluigi Donnarumma. I mean, he's available for reportedly between 25 to 30 million euros. You gotta get it done. Diaz can still work. Gvardiol, Ait Nouri, new signing. Raback, Livramento is a good shout. I like Thiago Santos a lot from Lille. He's really good. He had an ACL last season. That's why we didn't hear his name that much. But he had an insane start to the season, being part of that Lille team that, beat Madrid 1-0. And he had an incredible performance in that game, both defensively and offensively. So I would go with Thiago Santos for City if Livramento is too expensive. Rangers, Rodri, double pivot. Foden, 10. Cherki, Marmoush, Haaland. Now we'll take a look at the backups. I don't have all of them at the top of my head. Goalkeeper, they got Ortega, they got Trafford. If they get Donna, that's calm. Centre-back spot, they have Diaz, they have Gvardiol. They have John Stones. I don't know what's going on with him at City. A lot of injuries, I know, but performance-wise, I don't know how well he's performing. They have Nathan Ake and they have Manuel Akanji. They can still move on from one of them. They have good centre-back depth. Left back, they have Ait Nouri. Gvardiol can occasionally play there. And maybe Pep, puts a non-centre-back, non-left back in that position just for one game, like he does with Nunes. On the right side, you can have Nunes and obviously Rico Lewis as the backup right back, but get a right back in, that's for sure. Double pivot spots, I don't know who they have. They have like Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, but those players should not be playing football, especially in the Premier League and the Champions League in Big 2025. They should be off to Saudi. So, potentially a backup. I know they still have Calvin Phillips, but he's cooked. So, City should get a backup DM. Someone that can play in either the box-to-box or the DM role. I know that Rodri basically plays all the games and so on. Number 10. I don't know who they have. On the wings, they still have Grealish, who's probably going to go on loan. They have Oscar Bob. They have Savinho, obviously. Probably have someone I'm forgetting. Up top, Erling Braut Haaland. Oscar Bob can also play there. But yeah, that's City. Let's move on to the second team. And City fans, if you guys are watching this video, let me know if you guys agree with me or disagree. Moving on to the second club, we have FC Bayern Munich. Once again, a cheeky graphic here. And here's the Bayern Munich starting 11 I've picked. Manuel Neuer in goal. I've always had some question marks about Neuer past 2 years. Leimer as the right back. Upamecano, Jonathan Tah as the two centre backs. Alphonso Davies is the left back. Pavlovic, Kimmich as the double pivot. Musiala as the 10. Olise, Diaz, and Harry Kane up top. I know it could be Kim Min-jae instead of Tah, and it could be Bischoff instead of Pavlovic, but this is the lineup that I picked. Neuer, I've said Bayern need to start planning to move on from Neuer. It's like when PSG had Keylor Navas, we got Donnarumma in. When Madrid had Keylor Navas, they got Thibaut Courtois in. When Chelsea had Cech, they brought Thibaut Courtois in. You gotta start doing that. I've just seen that Israeli keeper they had, they just loaned him out or sold him or something. So that was supposedly the backup, I thought. Obviously, they have Nubel. I think Nubel could take the... No, not Nubel. What's his name? He played in the Inter game when Neuer was injured. That's the backup keeper. Right back spot, Leimer. I think Leimer is one of those players, like, every team needs a player like this, like the Valverde type, those kinds of players. So I think Leimer is a good player. He's a bit average, but he's a good player. He's not someone I think is a liability for Bayern. He's someone they can upgrade on, but I don't think he's liability. They still have Sasha Bowie as the backup. If they keep him, that's good backup. Centre-back spots. Upamecano, one of the best centre-backs in the world. Obviously, him not being fit for the knockout stages was a big miss, but I remember his huge performance versus Paris Saint-Germain, even though he got cooked by Hakimi at the end. Jonathan Tah, they have Kim Min-jae, they have Ito. Never seen him play, that Japanese dude. They got Tah, but I would still go for a top centre-back. You can go to Dortmund, Bayern's academy, go and get Schlotterbeck, Upamecano. I mean, that's insane. So let's see what Bayern do. Alphonso Davies, they got Guerrero as the backup. Obviously, Davies is injured until December or something, so Guerrero will have to do the job there. Musiala also out until like March, February, maybe earlier, depending on how the recovery goes. Kimmich, Pavlovic, they have Bischoff, as I mentioned before. They have Palhinha, who they should move on immediately from. They could potentially get another backup in one of those positions. They got to move on from Goretzka, but he's probably going to stay because he wants to stay out the remaining of his contract. Now take a look at the attack. They have Harry Kane. They want to get Voltemade because I'm seeing some reports. There are some clauses in Harry Kane contract where he can leave next season, next summer. Barca monitoring his situation, Premier League clubs, including Spurs. So Voltemade is a backup to Kane and a potential future replacement for Kane. So get Voltemade done. You got Olise, you got Luis Diaz. I know that Koeman has looked good in the preseason, but he's supposedly off to Al Nassr potentially. So Bayern, I guess they're going to use their youngsters in those positions. They still have Gnabry left. I would still go for some kind of a winger. Zegrova, I mentioned him in like my video Fix Bayern. Zegrova is available for like 20 million euros. He has 1 year left on his contract. Get Zegrova in. Olise, especially with Musiala out, could be playing in the number 10 position. And then you got Zegrova on that right-hand side. So Zegrova, immediate purchase if I was the Bayern director. But apart from that, cheeky side, that's my thoughts about the Bayern lineup. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have Chelsea FC. I know this team, unfortunately, quite well. Sanchez in goal, Chalobah, Colwill, Cucurella, James Caicedo, Enzo Lavia, Gittens, Pedro, and Palmer. Obviously, Colwill, recent report, unfortunate. He got an ACL. He will be out for majority of next season. So now let's take a look at the rest of the Chelsea squad. Goalkeeping position, we know about Chelsea. Sanchez had a good game in the final against PSG, but he's someone usually that Chelsea fans want out and is someone that you can upgrade upon. I mentioned Donnarumma before. If Donnarumma is available, go and get him. I know that Chelsea doesn't like to pay that high for wages, but Donna, I think he another step up for this Chelsea team. Maybe because of his ball playing, Maresca wouldn't want him. They also have Jurgensen. I think he was their Conference League keeper. He could be good. They had Petrovic. I think they sold Petrovic. I really enjoyed him from Strasbourg. There was one game we played them. I think we still scored like 3 goals or something, but he was insane. So I thought Petrovic maybe would get a chance. But I don't know. Some uncertainty regarding the goalkeeping position. Reece James, right back. Gusto backup. Great. Centre backs. Obviously, they have Chalobah. They have Colwill. They have Fofana. Badiashile. Disasi. Yeah, they got to sign the center backs. I mentioned Schlotterbeck before. Chelsea got a lot of money. They should break the bank for Alessandro Bastoni. That would be absolutely huge for this Chelsea side. Would make Cucurella push up a bit more as well. So, yeah, just go and get Bastoni, Chelsea. Go and become a serious club. Go and get yourself Bastoni. Cucurella. And they got in Yoran Hato as well, who can play in that position whilst Colwill is out. So the defense, calm. Midfield, they got Caicedo, they got Enzo, they got Lavia. they've mostly signed attackers. I can't think of a midfielder they have. Like James played in the midfield against us because I think Lavia was unfit. I don't know who more they have. Maybe get some backups. But starting wise, yeah, it's really good. Obviously, you can play one of the attackers as a 10 potentially as well. You got Gittins, Pedro Palmer, then you got Estevao, you got Kendrick Baez, you got Garnacho potentially coming in. You got, obviously, Jackson is going out, Madueke went out, and you got Delap as well. So the attack is fine, the midfield is fine. It's just the defense, I'm looking at reinforcements here from Chelsea. Moving on to the next team, it's Paris Saint-Germain. Simple, Chevalier in goal, Marquinhos, Pacho, Nuno, Hakimi, Neves, Ruiz, Vitinha, Kvara, Dembele, Doué. Paris Saint-Germain have a perfect starting 11. I don't have any question marks, especially because we just bought Zabarni, who, you know, our biggest weakness in the team. If I had to pick one, it's Marquinhos. Zabarni is going to take that position. So I'm mostly looking at backups. We don't have confident backups for Hakimi and Nuno. Even though we have Lucas Hernandez, Lucas Beraldo, who's played instead of Nuno Mendes, I would rather get an actual left back. Hakimi needs a backup, especially with AFCON and everything and how many games he plays all the time. Midfield, I would want one guy more for the rotation. I know we have Senima Yolo and João Neves. Moscardo obviously went out on loan. I would still want one more profile. And coming up to the attack, I love Dembele, Doué, Kvara, and Barcola, but I don't like Gonçalo and Kangi Lee at that level, so I would replace them for Magnus Achlios and Rodrigo Mora. Paris Saint-Germain went quickly by because we have a perfect starting 11, and I know what my team needs and wants. Next up is Real Madrid. Let's get it. 5 at the back. This is what I'm predicting, and maybe some Madrid fans will disagree with the players that I have, but Courtois in goal, obviously. Huijsen, Tchouaméni, Carvajal. I'll play Carvajal in the Azpilicueta right centre-back role. Trent, Carreras, 2 fullbacks, obviously between Carreras and Fran Garcia, depending on how both perform. Bellingham, Valverde, double pivot, Güler, Mbappe, Vini. I think this is the best with the players that Madrid have. Signings I'm looking to make, obviously, as a centre-back, you know, Militao, Alaba cooked, Rudiger should be in Saudi at the moment that we're speaking. So I would go for a centre-back. I know that they've been linked with Lukeba, too expensive. They want Konate. Instead of waiting until next season, Madrid, just go make the bid. The longer days it goes, the bigger likelihood of a no from Liverpool. But try for Konate. Go and pay the money. How broke is this Madrid team? Valverde, Bellingham, I mean, the technical ability is still lacking in this Madrid side, but maybe they play more vertical. It looks a bit different. I don't know. Carvajal, good technical player you have there, and Dean Huijsen. They will help progressing the ball a lot. So that will, you know, somewhat fill the gap of Toni Kroos a bit. But Güler should have a breakout this season. Rodrigo is set to stay as well. He wants to stay. He has no ambition, so he will stay. They also have Franco Mastantuono. So Courtois, they have Lunin, great backup. Trent, obviously there. They have Carvajal at the moment as a backup. Maybe in the future they will look for someone else. Vasco has obviously left the club. You got Tchouaméni, Huijsen. Looking at centre backs immediately, you gotta go and sign someone. You gotta go and sign someone if you want to go into the next season confidently, potentially winning the Champions League. Carreras, the left back, yeah, they just bought him. Calm. Double pivot, Valverde, Bellingham, Camavinga. I think Camavinga is actually gonna have a big season this season. Potentially dropping Bellingham if Xabi Alonso has balls, especially now. Bellingham is gonna be out for 3 months, so this is your time, Camavinga, to cook up. And then up in attack, they got Mbappe, Vini, Rodrigo, Güler, Franco, Garcia, Endrick. Endrick might be loaned out about. Yeah, when I'm looking at this Madrid side, centre-back, could potentially get a technical midfield. I've seen reports Xabi Alonso wants, you know, a Cruz type player. Angelo Stiller, they were looking at Enzo Fernandez. I don't know. It seems like Madrid won't do that, especially because they play only with 2 midfielders in this 3-5 at the back formation. So I'm mostly looking at a right-footed centre-back. 1 or 2, especially. I mean, if you're going to play a 3 at the back, you got to have a lot of great centre backs. So that's the position I'm looking at to strengthen the most. But apart from that, good side there for Madrid. Moving on to Liverpool FC. Alisson, Konate, Van Dijk, Kerkez, Frimpong, McAllister, Gravenberch, Wirtz, Ekitike, Gakpo, Salah. Great 11. The only player here I wouldn't rate that much is Gakpo. But obviously Liverpool, they're doing absolutely everything to get Isak over the line. Ekitike, it could be Ekitike on the left, Isak up top. It could be Wirtz on the left, Isak up top, and then you add Szoboszlai back into the midfield. It all depends on how Arne Slot wants to play and to get the right balance in this team. But Alisson, they just got Marmasha Davili. great goalkeeper, top keeper. He's someone I sometimes looked at, as a keeper to bring in if we're gonna move on from Donnarumma, Frimpong, and they have what's his name? He pocketed Mbappe. I don't remember his name, but he pocketed Mbappe. They have him as a backup. Konate, Van Dijk, Kerkez. They have Tsimikas and Robertson still at the club. McAllister, Gravenberg, Verts, Salah, Ekitike, Gakpo. Obviously, I don't think they have a backup-ish for Salah, but that's basically because Salah plays every game. Then they get Isak in. They got that 16-year-old. I think he's a left winger. And then looking at the midfield, they have Soboslai as a backup. Am I missing someone here? Yeah. So maybe someone that can play either like one of the double pivot roles as a backup, and obviously get Isak over the line. But apart from that, all of these teams so far, Liverpool is the second superior side after PSG. There isn't that much you can really strengthen in this squad, and then they're ready for next season. Moving on to FC Barcelona. Garcia in goal, Kubarsi, Araujo, Balde, Kunde, Pedri, Olmo, Gavi, Rafinha, Leva, Yamal. I picked Araujo, obviously that's what the reports are saying now that Inigo Martinez has left the club. And I picked Gavi in the double pivot because, Barca don't seem to rate Casado anymore, and I don't rate De Jong. I don't rate Ding Dong, Ding Dong, Ding Dong, Ding Dong. So, Barca, once again, a great lineup. Obviously, with the departure of Inigo Martinez, we'll see how it looks. But I don't think Flick trusts Araujo that much, and I don't think Barca should take that risk. Obviously, Araujo can go back to his 2023 level, but why should Barca go in with that risk? They won basically everything last season apart from, stumbling in the Champions League, and they want to, do it again and actually win the UCL, and I wouldn't take that risk. Seeing, the big mistakes from Araujo in big Champions League games. So I would go for the names of, I've seen the names. Barca fans, thank you for the names. I've seen Romero, but is he right-footed or left-footed? I don't exactly know. Cuti Romero from Spurs, Bastoni and Schlotterbeck. Bastoni and Schlotterbeck both left-footed, perfect. The issue with Barca, money problems. They still haven't registered Garcia and Rashford, so I don't know how much money they have. I said before, they'll probably, if they make a signing, it will be like an Inigo Martinez-esque. Basically, an experienced centre-back in La Liga for a cheap price. I think they got him for free from Atletico Bilbao. So maybe that's what Barca do. That's the issue. Like, Barca don't have that much money to operate with. But I would look into getting a left-footed left back, obviously. Garcia, they just extended Chesney, so that's very good. They have Eric Garcia. They have Fran Garcia as the backup fullbacks. We saw them in the Inter game, combining for the goals and everything. Looking at the midfield, you got Pedri, you got Gavi for the double pivot. You got Bernal, who's coming back from his ACL. You got Casado, and you got Ding Dong still. Why don't Barca just sell De Jong? That would fix the entire 1-1 situation in La Liga. Just get rid of De Jong, man. It's such a false football player. Daniel Olmo, and obviously, come to the attack. I think this was one weak point for Barca last season. Not because their attack is bad. Quite the opposite. It's great. But the backups. Ferran Torres, though, had his best season ever at Barca. He was very good as a backup. But they needed more, especially on that right side. Because Yamal basically had to play every single game because they didn't have one. They got Ronny Bardghji in, and they got Rashford in. And then I think they have Domingo Doni or something from the academy that's played in preseason. So they have the backups needed. If Olmo is injured, as he is at the moment, you just put Rafinha in the 10, play Rashford on the left. There's so much more movement. There's much more squad depth. So I'm looking at Barca getting a left centre-back. And apart from that, the signings you've made of Garcia, Rashford, Bardghji is enough for FC Barcelona. And lastly but not least, Arsenal FC. And they've had a big summer transfer window so far. The biggest under Arteta. Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, Skele, Timber, Zubimendi, Ødegaard, Rice, Madueke, Gyökeres, Saka. This is a good side. This is an upgraded side from last season. Zubimendi will be a good signing. Madueke, I think is a good backup, can play on the left, can play on the right, but I would get in an actual left winger. Rodrigo now is set to stay at Madrid. So I don't know really what Arsenal can do in that situation. Do you want to trust Ødegaard again? We'll see. I think there are a lot of good players in this Arsenal team. I think the main imposter is Arteta. He's the one that potentially should be moving away from Arsenal if it doesn't go right this season. But I would look at someone like Barella. Brings in tons of experience, could play that Ødegaard role to perfection, and would upgrade this Arsenal side. Left winger, as I mentioned, Rodrigo. There's Rafael Leão. Maybe make a huge bid for Barcola, the new Thierry Henry. But apart from that, the starting 11 actually looks good. I've heard there's one Arsenal fan, because I don't watch Arsenal that much, that complains about Timber and Skelly, with both of them being defensive fullbacks, that like you can have one defensive, one offensive. But you have Califiore, you have Ben White, another defensive one. This is just Arteta terrorism. Saliba Gabriel, they got Mosquardo in. Mosquardo, great. PSG will link to him. Campos knew him. Great signing. They got Kivior, they got Ben White. For the fullback spot, Califiore, Ben White as the backups. Zubimendi, they got Norgard in as well. Party left. Who else do they have in the midfield? I don't know. They have that Downman, that 15, 16-year-old that's looking good. They have Ethan Nwaneri that's looking good. So when I look at Arsenal, it's actually, it isn't that much really you can strengthen if you don't go for a top player, which Arsenal don't have the pull off. So I would go for a top left winger. You have Havertz as the backup to Gyökeres. I'll go for a top left winger, use the money that's left, and call it a day. And that comes to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making all of these graphs, lineups, and everything, and I enjoyed recording this video. I think I have a lot of general football knowledge, so I'm someone that can speak on all the teams and so on. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Hopefully hopefully you agreed with me. I mean, whether you agreed or disagreed, it is what it is. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you agree, what you disagree regarding your team. And as usual, allez, bye.